speaker leader. And I would also like to point out, as a part of raising the integrity of student government, I don't think that it is typical or there has been precedent set for the Speaker of the Student Senate to be on that, and I'm so thrilled that Hannah is on that with us. And so, good work in what little we've done so far this year. Let's keep that up. Another thing that they wanted me to share with you, I met with Dr. Bermudez, who works in the Office of the Provost. They are looking at, this is not set in stone whatsoever, they just kind of want to engage student leaders. They want the 2016 presidential debate to be here on campus in Rio Grande. The Super Bowl is the only thing that is more watched than the presidential debate, so that would be very good to be here at Texas A&M. This, I want to update you on the student region. It kind of cycles through. That is part of our responsibility going to student region, and it kind of alternates, being from someone at College Station and then someone who is at one of the other assisting schools. This year it is someone from our campus. I'll skip that. And you've seen probably two Aggie Family updates. Those are kind of changed. We're going to change and be rebranded. I was only able to share a small piece of vision, but part of how we communicate is we want those to be much better. If there's things that you need to be in there, we want to also market good things that Student Senate is doing and the exec is doing and working together. And so that's something that's looked a little different. If you saw, there was obviously a Silver Taps theme that was sent out yesterday intentionally on the day of Silver Taps, and we want to continue to improve that in other ways that we communicate to campus, allow them to communicate to ourselves. The little banner thing, it's kind of like one of those creepy commercials with a have y'all seen that thing on YouTube, the little fluffy thing that pops up everywhere and it actually is kind of creepy? Yeah. That's a little bit what this has become, because I popped it up everywhere. I'm so proud of the little thing. And it was at the MSC open house, and someone scared me. I said yes. Austin scared me. He said programming can actually be spelled with 1 or 2 M's. It doesn't matter. But anyway, that's just one piece of. We want to not be as government. It's kind of like the post office. We're going into something that's interesting. So our executive cabinet had a retreat this past weekend, and I already shared with you guys about the document. Other than that, I wanted to recognize that I think maybe today or maybe this week is Amy Lloyd's kind of 4th year anniversary. So she's been with us for 4 years. 4 years. And also, yes, also of course, Dave Johnson, who is joining us this year as well. And I want to also thank members of the that did work. While most of us were gone away, I really appreciate those things that were done over the summer, and we're really looking forward to this year. Thanks. God bless and give.
Howdy, Senator Marinoff, Engineering. Regarding the University Committee nominations, will we be notified, meaning 75% of the Senate, be notified when the committee meetings are supposed to be held?
Will you be notified?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Senator Gordon?
Senator Gordon talked about that. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that hiring freeze you mentioned.
Absolutely. I'll share with you what I know, and I have to kind of sift through. The steering committee that I'm on is we kind of meet confidentially, but I'm able to share that. If you go to the system website and read kind of the purpose of the PwC audit or administrative review, what it is doing is it's kind of created when vacancies open up within non-academic parts of our university, there is a process with which they have to be approved to be fulfilled. And so many of those have gone through, some of them have not. It's really just to be positive, and because we have grown, it's really gotten skewed and a little bit messed up, and titles are off. It's kind of a way for the university to become more efficient. And Texas A&M is already much more efficient than our peers, so it could be a good thing. However, as we kind of shared, we're growing and changing. Proportional growth is certainly something that I am for, and so it's just something to be aware of as far as what's being cut, what's being promoted, if you will, when we're talking about funding. And so from a student activity, student affairs point of view, we just need to watch that. I think that there's great intention, and there's a lot of focus on the core competencies of Texas A&M, which is teaching, research, academics, and those are great things, but we just want to be watchful of the other side. That I think has been a big part of our Aggie experience as well. Is that helpful? Yeah, thank you.
Senator Hood.
Senator Hood, off campus. Could you expand a little bit on what the plan for Build is this semester, by any chance?
Build project?
Yes.
Absolutely. Build project is doing medical units. I think they're calling them TAMUs, Texas Aggie Medical Units, and they presented at Fish Camp as well. And they're taking what's kind of just a container and making it a fully functional clinic, if you will. And I think that they're going to be able to I've heard this presentation so many times, I should be more thorough with this, but I think they're going to be able to ship them potentially overseas. But I think the idea was we built a house and that benefited the Bryan College Station community, and so we wanted to do something whether in our state or potentially internationally. And so it's a pretty cool project. I know that there was a little controversy over whether it would be on Simpson Drill Field, and it was approved that it's going to be there on campus, which I think is extremely positive. That was one of the main ambitions of Build, is that it would be one kind of unifying effort for the student body. I think it's a great thing. I ultimately would like for it to get back to building a house, but that's up to them. So.
Definitely. Thank you.
Time for one more question. Senator Walker.
Senator Walker, Ted Knight. I was wondering about the student region. I believe he's actually from Tarleton State, not from this.
Correct. I apologize. So not this year's current standing region, but so the application process will be this fall for next year's, and it's for this campus, for College Station. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we move to Chief Justice Cooper.
Tony said it. It's going to be here tonight. I just want to give you a few updates on what's been going on in the court. First of all, we've begun our process to find a Vice Chief Justice. Obviously, that's a constitutionally required role. That will likely be filled by the end of this weekend, so I'll be sure to update you at the next Senate meeting who that person will be. Second, Judicial Court met last Friday and made a couple changes to our bylaws. Those changes will be submitted to the new Rules and Regulations Chair, hopefully as soon as this meeting is over. But I wanted to discuss really three important changes to the bylaws in case anyone in the Senate uses the J-Court this year, as I'm sure you certainly will. The first one has to do with text message evidence. In the past, the court has been really reactionary and provisional on deciding how to handle text messages. We basically just answered the question by saying you're allowed to submit text messages so long as you also submit a court-created form that verifies that all the names in those text messages are who they say they are, and also that the conversation hasn't been doctored in any way to misrepresent what the conversation actually says. Second, the court has also reserved the right to conduct ex parte hearings in a situation in which a defendant does not appear. This is a power that the court has exercised in the past in order to ensure that hearings run smoothly. And this really just further enshrines that ability to really make sure that people can't avoid getting away if they have a case against them. And then last, and this is sort of new and revolutionary for J-Court, but we've also allowed students to submit amicus curiae briefs. In the past, especially within this body, we've had individuals and even groups claim that certain cases have affected them, even though they weren't parties to that case. This amicus curiae brief really allows those parties to submit their own reasoning as to how the court should decide. But it's important to stress that these amicus curiae briefs certainly do not bind upon the justices the same way the Constitution and the Code does. Another thing that this will solve, I think, is in the past, judicial court justices have received messages and solicitation from parties who aren't involved trying to influence the justices to rule a certain way. This really brings all of that to light. All those documents will be made public so everyone can see what communication is happening to the court. So I think that all these changes will really help the judicial court do a much better job of carrying out its duties in the ahead.
Any questions for Chief? Seeing none, thank you. Great. Howdy. I just want to say thank you to everybody that decided to come today. It really thought that you're here. I know that is, well, yeah, it can be stressful. I know I already have 3 research in a week, so we have all this stuff. Anyway, just want to give you a Senate summer update. Kyle and I once again had the pleasure of going to this camp, and that was such a beautiful experience. We had several students that came up and wanted to talk to us about Student Senate. I think that's something that's really, really impressive for us as an organization. Next, I have had the pleasure of speaking to representatives from the Student Bar Association at St. University School of Law, as well as students within the Health Sciences Center all across the state. They are really interested in becoming 22 liaisons that will be coming to the next meeting for you guys to confirm. See if they would like to use representatives for the Health Center and then at the law school. Brandon and I will be visiting the Health Sciences Center to get a view of what Student Senate is all about, and they are actually streaming live. So we are looking forward to working with Chair Mitchell this year to possibly coordinate some seats with our brand new technology, as you can see, to have some teleconferencing in from Fort Worth, so that we have accurate representation of our two wonderful graduate programs. Next, I feel like today was a pretty good meeting. I think this is a record, an hour and 30-minute long meeting. Good job on the rules today. As a reminder, do stand up, state your name and caucus, and don't forget about maintaining order while we're going throughout the agenda. Next, I want to talk about an issue that's really been bothering me lately, and that's the matter of honesty and integrity within the body. There have been several blasts on social media about students that in this room, and I do not appreciate that. If I didn't find out that one of you was the one doing it, you're going to have to deal with me. So that needs to stop immediately. You are an Aggie first before you're a student senator, and if you know anything about the core values that are read at every meeting, so you should know them, then you would know not to be them first. From what I can see, it is somebody in this room, because it only makes sense because they're posting information that will come out of this room, unless you have a wonderful fan that's watching us live every week. So, as a reminder, you are Aggies. There's a reason why you attended this university, and there's a reason why the admissions officer accepted you. They found you're an honest person with integrity. And if you can't seem to do that, then you do not know not to go to the university with you, especially not university. So, there needs to be no more of that. If I find out about it, you're going to have to go with me, and you're not going to like it. Moving on to the next, we have an exciting time this year. We have an active Texas legislature, and that's going to bring a lot of controversy. As that is being said, it is imperative that you remain the person of integrity that I know you are throughout that time. I know there's going to be a lot of things that come in this room that are political, and we've got people from all over the spectrum. So that means you need to be respectful and courteous to each of you, but that doesn't mean you can't shout out your opinions. I expect you to do that. That's what this body is for educational promotion as well as being active and representing students. And so, as our student body as a whole, remember that when you decide to make a decision politically, and be sure to be contacting. You are completely entitled to your opinion, but you are also entitled to come to this room with respect. And I'm not going to tolerate any disrespect going on the entire time, especially when I know and have heard rumors of some very controversial things our way. As a guideline,